I wheeled myself right up to the door of the car. And I fumbled to get into it. My mother grabbed the wheelchair and threw it in the trunk. I told her I passed, and that everything's good, and she didn't have to bring me there anymore. I was so ashamed of myself that I had to lie. I did that often back then. I was not a true person in any regard of the word. And she didn't say congratulations on graduating. She didn't say none of that. She just carried on. Talked about the kids and somebody screwing something up. I ended up staying silent most of the ride home. I don't think I experienced it at the time, but I felt just this shame. I can see it now when I go back to this memory in my mind. This tremendous shame that I was a failure and a cripple, and I didn't know how I was gonna work this thing called life out. I didn't know. We finally got home about 40 minutes later and pulled into the driveway and hobbled up the steps there, the good old grass driveway. This time at a very even pace as to not cause any more divots. Or tracks, if you will. And I hobbled inside, and my bed had become the pull-out couch in the living room because I didn't really want to get up and down stairs much. My bedroom is still upstairs in the house, and at that time, I was subject to just a tremendous amount of frustration. You see, by this point in my life, I did everything I could to just sleep there. That was it. I was never home, ever. I was escaping in every single way I possibly could. I had to find my way out. And I wish that I could have had some semblance of a reason to want to be there. I love my brothers and sisters to death. But I just hated myself so much as I look back on this. That's what drove me away. I was a vagabond. Sleeping on my friends' couches, going from this friend to that friend to the other friend until the weekend's over, and then back to the meat grinder. As I laid down, I looked over and remembered that my mother had given me something in the hospital. You see, it was my birthday when I crashed my car. It was right around my birthday. And my mom had never made me anything. Ever. Nothing. I mean, she'd give me gifts, but spend time on me on something? Not a chance. But this year, she took the time. She took the time. She knew that it would be important to me to get me a gift that I could really, really appreciate. And so my mother had gone off to Michael's back then. That's what they called it, Michael's, the craft store. I guess we call that Walmart these days because I think Michael's bit the dust, at least, I don't know, in a bunch of different states. Around here it did. But the way of Joanne Fabrics. The way of Joanne. You see, she had made me a scrapbook. And I remember pulling it out of this birthday bag thing and looking at the title of it. You see, when she gave it to me, I was in the hospital all hopped up on drugs. I'm assuming they had me on a ton of painkillers. I mean, my leg was wobbling and dangling back and forth, and I really didn't remember the moment she gave it to me, but she had pictures, and she made sure that that those pictures made it into that book. Yes, she did. And I remember reading the title, Paul's Boo Boo Book. You see, my mother had taken her time very well to give me a scrapbook of the car accidents that I'd been in, which were 2. So I open it up, and there's the first one with the work van. I was learning how to drive and tried to dodge something in the road, and bam, here we are. Did not have the skills. I'd say I'm about 17 at the time to manage that, and lost control of the vehicle right into a tree, man. And as I was looking through those pictures, I mean, she didn't have 1 or 2. I mean, she had 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8. And they were so perfectly placed. I mean, she had the crash, the boom. You know, she had taken her time to find those phrases like the original Batman. Bam, boom, crash. And she had placed those pictures so perfectly. And as I kept moving forward, I got to the modern accident. You know, the one that put me in the hospital on my birthday, and I started seeing pictures of me in the hospital all hopped up on something. I'm assuming it was massive painkillers. And they got me in a sombrero, purple sombrero, with sunglasses on, looking at that book. My mother took the time. She really did. She invested well. She wanted to make sure that her son's birthday would be remembered forever. At this point in my life, I had so much shame and self-loathing and self-hatred that I didn't even recognize this book. I just set it aside. I didn't see it as abuse. I didn't see it as something that wasn't, something that was abnormal. That's just the way that I grew up. I think I'm going to find that thing, throw some photos in here or whatever. This will be my first video with a little B-roll. At least that's what the videographers call it. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a videographer. I'm just a dude talking to a camera because I care about people that grew up like me, people that are suffering, and I wanna help them. I really do. Like, I've spent so much of my life putting the pieces back together, and now I'm at a stage where I've gained an incredible amount of mastery. And even though I feel sadness about these memories that I'm going through on this channel, I'm grateful I get to feel sad instead of be sad. See, sadness used to be a state of being for me. Rage used to be a state of being. Depression used to be a state of being. Self-loathing used to be a state of being. Desire to die, a state of being. All of those states of being I've worked through, and so much more. And that's why I'm sharing these stories. And that's why I'm willing to be honest to the point that it's embarrassing. Because I know that on the other end of this lens is somebody out there like me. And they never had the opportunities that I did to really take a look at their life and figure out that it's not their fault. And they don't have to live the way that they are anymore. I had to meet that young part of myself when I became an adult. I was in my mid-30s when I started moving through all that shame. It makes me aware of the levels of evil that human beings can do to each other. I don't think that the general public understands that you can be so dysfunctional and screwed up that you think the prized possession and prized gift of your son on his birthday while he's in the hospital with a broken, mangled leg, and your goal is to document that for him because you know someday this is going to be so valuable for him. I mean, I can't make this stuff up. But I wish I was making this stuff up. I wish my life was different than what it is. In some ways. And in others, I don't. I'm grateful that whatever you want to call it, man, God, the creator, whatever you want to call it, that being, he had a plan and he had a purpose for my life. And he knew I would suffer greatly. But he also knew there'd come a day where I'd be looking into this camera and I'd be saying that there is an opportunity to lead an incredible life. And that depression and anxiety and self-hatred and all these other labels that our world is so good at doing these days, all these labels, that's all they are, is labels. There are ways to master the suffering in your life. And you don't have to hold on to it anymore. You don't have to resent, and be angry, and hate, and be filled with malice. These are the things I had to tell myself. Because unfortunately, if I stayed with all of those things, and I stayed with that disgust I felt towards myself, that this is the value I am, this is how I matter in the world. My own mother makes her first scrapbook of me, and it's the mangled car accidents that I've been in. And she gives it to me on my birthday when I'm in the hospital. I don't think I was ever valued for the very one that I am. I believe that all people are divine gifts to the world. And they have something inside of themselves that is uniquely placed to be able to serve mankind. And we get it so twisted. If there's anyone on this planet that deserves to be a victim, you're looking at them. That deserves to have entitlement, you're looking at them. That deserves to be able to not be responsible for his actions, you're looking at him. Because of trauma, I shouldn't have to be responsible. See that a lot these days. And I think it's a great lie. I really, really do. Because ultimately, we sit here in our silos and we justify heinous things. I was on my way to heinous things. I was on my way to heinous things in my life. And I am so grateful that the great beyond got a hold of me and took this mangled, destroyed person that was full of hatred and anger and malice and the desire to do harm and changed me. Changed me. I am fully convinced there is no circumstance that cannot be changed. I'm not saying it's not difficult, and I'm not saying it's not a rough life that you're going through. What I am saying is this. If you value yourself enough to be in the pursuit of understanding your past, healing from your past, and then having your past propel you into your future, you have no idea the impact you can have in this world. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen the men that I've mentored. Divorce papers signed. It's over. It's done. And then it wasn't. And then it wasn't. Men that I've said, hey man, this situation feels like your girl's potentially going on behind your back. And then 3 weeks later, here it is. There it is. Situations like, I don't know if you should take that next drink. Or that next, gambling at the casino. Or that next fast food meal. Or whatever is binding the human being down. I have just witnessed the radical transformation of people. And it fuels me in this way that I cannot describe. To be able to partner with humanity. And to be able to watch people in the most dire of circumstances. And to speak life into them. To be able to speak life. And to watch the sadness fade and the anguish fade and them come back alive. There's no greater feeling for me I've ever felt in my entire life than this. And I will never, ever, ever take it for granted. You're important. There's people on this earth for you to impact, for you to help, for you to serve. And it's not done by advice giving. You got plenty of advice in this world. Nobody needs advice. What they need are people that are courageous enough to step into their world and suffer with them. And say, I'll show up for you. I'll sit in silence with you. I'll buy you a meal. I'll walk with you. I'll take the call at 2:37 in the morning. I'll do everything in my power to serve you. The world needs you more than you know.